Hello, welcome back to OS Racing. We're back at InKart. It is the home of OS Racing, I guess. This is Season 3, and this is Round 1, Heat 1. We'll talk about that in a little bit, because the format's changed slightly, and also you may notice that Ollie is in a larger kart now, because we are in Juniors. But we are about to make a start, so Ollie, what are you thinking right now?
I'm just thinking of like what I should do and like what happens at the start. So we're off. I think I've definitely got Alfie.
Yeah, that's a great start. P2 off the line. Position 3 is actually better than P2 as a starting point, to be fair.
Yes, definitely, because P2's got to go back onto the left to get to the inside.
Yeah, or try and take him around the outside, which is always a bit of a challenge as well. Okay, so now P2 chasing this person ahead, who I don't know their name. I'm going to learn a whole new bunch of names now because I don't know that many juniors. We know Alfie, of course.
There's like Alfie and George.
So we're taking a runner, you've got a better exit, you're going down the inside of him, and P1. P3 to P1 by the first lap, and we've now gone into speedy time. So while we're in speedy time, let's talk about Season 3 at Daytona. They've changed the format. What does that look like, Ollie?
So basically, you know Club 100 where you've got the like pre-B or A? It's basically, so you don't do quali at Daytona now, so you do your practice, they sort out where your two heats are, so basically your two mini races, and then you've got one race, one 12-minute race at the end.
Yeah, so one practice, two heats which are randomly positioned, so you don't know who you're going to race against, but the two heats are actually races with standing starts, as you've just seen. So this is Heat 1, and you qualify for the actual race, the B or the A final, by you get points for your finishing positions, and then depending on where you place in your points, it determines your qualifying position. So you started in P3 for this race, and you made it to, so far, P1. Just coming onto the back of Cadet here, I think. Yeah.
So by now I'm catching the Cadets. I think basically I'm gonna get through a few of the Cadets, and then the race is probably going to finish because of how long our speed time actually was.
And I'll mention now, and you'll see in the description, just like Club 100 races, now we've gone into a heat system at Daytona. It makes sense to create one video rather than three. So all the heats in the final are going to be in this one video, but if you only want to watch part of one, or you want to jump to specific heat or watch just the final, then click the links below and you'll find those details. So I think we're just coming on to the final lap now.
So I'm trying to get past these Cadets. It will probably be easy. I just need to properly catch up to them, because I was just like a bit behind them.
Yeah, in the next heat we'll talk about the performance of the karts as well.
So the guy sort of spun himself out, really.
Yeah, he didn't spin out, he carried on, he just slid a bit and lost a lot of time, really. So still P1 coming toward turn 11. Back onto the straight, and there goes the flag. So here's your race classification. Ollie gets P1 in your first heat. That's mega. Well done, mate. Jake Butland second, Ellis Owens takes third, George Balster got fourth, and Alfie O'Brien had unfortunately a bit of kart issues, and that was it. He couldn't finish the race, so he unfortunately takes fifth, which is one of the downsides to the new heat system. It means if you do have a kart problem, or if you are hit, and we'll maybe talk about that as well, you can't just go and put in a really fast lap and still qualify high, because it doesn't go on time, it goes on position.
So this is the next heat. So I'm still in P3, which is a bit weird. I was in P3 for both of them.
Yeah, you had a mid-start. If you didn't watch Heat 1, we're at Daytona Milton Keynes for Season 3 of InKart, and welcome to OS Racing.
So we've just gone. I'm not sure if I've had that good of a start, but Ellis is trying to sort of keep his line.
Oh no! Yeah. So here's a great example, right? You were probably left a little bit too much space, but two karts tried to undertake you, and unfortunately you got hit, and that's now left you in a very bad position because you were P3. You're now down in P5. I mean, it's a tough call, this one. That someone else has had a problem. Ellis has had a problem. I think he might have got hit by someone, and so you take that position, P4. Yeah, so it's a good system. I like the heat system. It actually means there's lots more regular action on the track. But the downside is if you get taken out, you pretty much, that's it. You're screwed, basically.
One of the marshals said the reason why the heats are good is because if you spin out on one, you get another chance. But if you spin out on one and then come first, you may not be in the A.
Yeah,
there's a possibility that you could be in B.
Yeah, it depends what happens. We had a similar experience at Team Sport at the BIKC regional finals last year, when you had a broken kart on the race where you were starting near the front, and it meant that after that you went straight to the back after lap 1, and that was it. You basically couldn't qualify for the A final, and because you couldn't qualify for the A final, you couldn't then qualify for the next stage of the competition. So kind of that one broken kart sort of ruined your opportunity, really. But hey ho, it's racing at the end of the day. You have to take the rough with the smooth, shall we say.
So I'm catching up to this guy in the orange helmet a lot now.
Yeah, we've had quite a few attempts. Let's talk about the performance of the junior karts. How are their drive?
So they've changed them. If you can see, like now they sort of look like the cadets but bigger. They're a bit slower, and like on that day, they were bumping, like not like the bouncing.
Oh, so they were porpoising like a Mercedes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, well, if you're going to get high quality machinery, you've got to expect high quality porpoising. Yeah, so I mean, if you look at the data, you can see the speedometer on the bottom left corner. The karts are currently running about the same speed as the cadets, and in fact, you won't see it in the video itself, but in the final of this day, we actually saw the faster cadets were putting in faster times than the fastest juniors. So I think they could do with making some tweaks to these karts, if I'm honest. Shane, if you're watching this, there's the feedback. It'd be nice if we could get a little bit more speed out of them, just because I think it's nice to have progression from, and we're just going into the last lap, by the way. It's nice to have progression from cadets to juniors, and then after juniors you've got the STs, which is a great championship. But if the juniors are running at exactly the same speeds as the cadets, then I don't know, it kind of sort of, for me it leaves a gap in the middle there between cadets and the STs, where you haven't really got something you can compete in. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. I know they wanted to maybe slow them down a little bit so that they weren't getting, constantly lapping the cadets during the InKart race, but
the reason why it's probably the same speed is because the juniors are more like teenagers or just before teenagers. Like, they're old and they're probably more
I'll let you think about what you're trying to say there. Race classification. George Balster takes the win. Alfie O'Brien gets a second. Jake Butland is third. Oliver Sanderson is fourth. And Ellis Owens fifth. To your point, Alfie was last in the first heat. He came second in this heat. And unfortunately, he didn't make the A final. It meant that he was at the front of the B final due to that result. So it shows you, like, even if you have a problem in one heat, it's not always easy to recover. But I don't know, I do still think overall I prefer the heat system to qualifying, but it does, like, that's the one downside for me, is what happens when something goes wrong.
The good thing about this is you don't have to wait like an hour to actually race.
Yeah.
You have to wait like 10 or so minutes.
Okay, so quick intro. Hello, welcome to OS Racing. If you're just joining for the race and not watched the heats, first of all, we are in the A final, and actually, despite that slightly dodgy result in the Heat 2, we actually qualified in second position for the A final.
I think it was because I got that second.
The win, you mean?
Oh yeah, the win.
So, P3, you just got hit again in turn 2. It's a nightmare. And again, you've just been hit. But it looks like they haven't tried to take the position. So you did lose a position there. The kart ahead, he kind of took that by contact, advantage by contact. But anyway, turn 2 on lap 1 is a nightmare because everyone is trying to rush into it. So drop 2 positions and in P4.
So I may have in here... I think I may have him, so brake a bit earlier, he'll like go out a bit wider. I couldn't take him on the straight.
No, yeah, he just had this, like, he kind of had a bit of a comeback. It was a good effort. You got to try that. It was great. It was great to give it a go. You still keep him right on him for this back straight. And yeah, these karts are doing 40 mile an hour. The cadets will easily do 40 mile an hour as well. Talking about the performance of them. So he's had a little slide. Here's a moment, side by side. But he's going to take the inside line. You're going to try the cut back. But he leaves enough room, but it's a bit of a squeeze. Okay, so Daytona, home of OS Racing. It's the track we are most familiar with. Staff kind of feel like family there, to be fair. New karts, new format, probably new weather conditions because we're going to go into the winter now. We haven't had a cold, wet, miserable race for a long time. It's got to be coming soon.
Like Club 100, like, we haven't had... I think we've had one that was quite cold, but that was because we were like literally, you're next to the River Thames. Like, there's a load of bushes, and then that's the River Thames. So I may have him here. I think I've got him unless he gets me.
Line. Oh, he's holding on the outside here. Look at that. Oh, that's great racing. 2x2. But look, he's carried more speed through turn 2 and 3 than you did. And he was on a worse line So you probably could carry more speed through turn 2 there. You probably just need to work out how to do it in the bigger junior karts, because they're going to be a little heavier to handle. But yeah, he kind of, you know, he shouldn't really get you on the outside like that. But you're right back on him. We do have a cadet coming up. That's Jacob Kent, a good friend of ours. Maybe if you're watching this, Jacob, say hello.
So he's, I think he's a bit scared because like he's looking behind, checking if I'm still here.
It's a great technique. You want to get right on them, make them think, because all that time while he's looking and concentrating on what's going on behind, he's liable to. He's much more likely to make a mistake.
Yeah, if he like crashes into the tyres, it's not my fault.
Exactly like here, he's just got. He came out way too tight out of turn 4. You took the proper line, and that's. It looks like it's it. Yeah, P3. You're in P3, so we are back on track. There you go, Jacob Kent, who you're, I guess, technically lapping here. And he makes it quite easy for you and just gets out the way. Thank you, Jacob.
I'm not sure he actually purposely got out the way. He probably, like, maybe went a bit too late into that corner. Because I think the juniors have about maybe 3 miles an hour faster.
They're not. They're exactly the same top speed. They might get there slightly quicker. I'm not sure. They might accelerate to there slightly quicker. But the speeds you're doing were just, you know, exactly the same. Look, 30 mile an hour through there, 20 mile an hour through there, 25 to 26, 25 to 27 through that part, and then you're hitting 39 on turn 9. So they're exactly the same speed as the cadets. Obviously, they're a bigger kart. They do have a slightly bigger engine, but I think all of that... And yep, you're free. I think that was... is that Richard? I think it was.
Richard.
I think it was. Kind of made it a little hard for you to get around there. One thing worth calling out, actually, for the first 7 laps, all of your lap times were over 60 seconds. The minute you got past the driver who was slowing you up a little bit, your lap time suddenly dropped into the 59.7s almost immediately. And I think we're just coming through to the final lap, so slowing back down. Let's watch this.
It's been quite a lonely race. Like at the start I had a few little races, and then like trying to overtake the cadets is quite easy when we're the same amount of speed.
Yeah, exactly. Though it should be said, 58.5s are possible in these junior karts. We know that because Alfie can do a 58.5.
I did a 58.
You've done a 58.9, but not in...
Didn't I do a 58.6?
No, 58.9 was your fastest, which is still a really good time. That was in practice, which we didn't film. It was in practice on this day.
Should have filmed it.
So 58s are possible, but you were struggling to get to them outside of practice. So we need to work on the junior karts. Anyway, there's your race classification. Harley Vaughan got first. George Balster was second. Oliver Sanderson, podium position still. First junior race, podium position, not to be complained about. Arthur Kalich was 4th. Jake Butland came in 5th, and in 6th we have Callum Franklin. Did you enjoy it?
Yes. And see you on the next video, which
Done.
I think is another Daytona.
We have another Daytona, and then we will soon have Clay Pigeon from Club 100. If you like these videos, please do hit that subscribe button, hit the like, and leave us a comment, say hello. We always like those too.